कहाँ मोरा स्वरूप रूपा कहाँ सनातन कहाँ दस रघुनाथ पतित पावन कहाँ मोरा भक्त जुगा कहाँ कबीरा एक कले को था गेला गोरनतरा pasane kutibo mata anale pasibo goranga gunera nidhi kotha gele pabo se saba sangira sange je koi lo bila se sangana paya kande narotamada se sangana paya kande narotamada Vaishnav Thakur, Vaishnav Thakur, Vaishnav Thakur, Jaya Vaishnav Thakur. Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada.
Thakur ki प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास हरिगौर भक्तवृंद के श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गौप गोपीनाथ राधा कुंज श्याम कुंज गिरि गोवर्धन के वृंदावन धाम के मायापुर धाम के गंगामाई के यमुना माई के तुलसी देवी के भक्ति देवी के जय निताय गौर प्रेमानंद. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. So, today is the disappearance day of Srila Vrindavana Thakur. Okay. Then how much time do we have? So, as we have sung, right, about great Vaishnava passing away, there is always something to remember. And Vrindavana Das Thakur, he was not just the ordinary person. I have here from Chaitanya Charitamrita few verses actually describing his personality, who actually he was. So we will start with this to actually set the mood, to properly understand then who Vrindavana Thakur was. So Krishna's Kaviraj, then he describes him as in all from Chaitanya Charitamrita, and Adi Leela, chapter 8, verse 33. Oh fools, just read Sri Chaitanya Mangala. By reading this book, you can understand all the glories of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now, as we know, he wrote Chaitanya Bhagavat, but actually, before it was named Chaitanya Bhagavat, and original name was Chaitanya Mangal. But Lochan Das Thakur also wrote a book named Chaitanya Mangal. That's why later on, his book was renamed as Chaitanya Bhagavat. That's why Krishna's Kaviraj, he mentions Chaitanya Mangal. In another verse, as Vyasadeva has compiled all the pastimes of Lord Krishna in Srimad Bhagavatam, Thakur Vrindavan Das has depicted the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. So here he specifies who was Vrindavan Das Thakur. Vrindavan Das Thakur in Krishna Lila, then he appeared as Vyasadeva. So in Chaitanya Lila, then he appeared as Vrindavan Das Thakur to describe the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, and especially when he was from his childhood. Krishna's Kaviraj described the pastimes more the later ones in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So he was the incarnation of Vyasadeva. In Adi Leela 8:36, then Thakur Vrindavan Das has composed Sri Chaitanya Mangala. Hearing this book, and he relates all misfortune. So you read this, and then by the grace of Vrindavan Das Thakur, hearing about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then you get all inspired to do devotional service. Right? So then that's very wonderful. And in Adi Leela 8:38, in Sri Chaitanya Mangala, Srila Vrindavana Das Thakur has given the conclusion and essence of devotional service by quoting the authoritative statements of Srimad Bhagavatam. Right? So he also didn't just make things up. He was following exactly in the footsteps of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And that is then following the conclusions of Srimad Bhagavatam. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he appeared to preach Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is also followed by Vrindavana Das Thakur. And in the next verse, 39, the subject matter of this book is so sublime that it appears that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has personally spoken through the writings of Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur. Right? So this is what the Vaishnavas actually see. They never claim that they themselves came to some conclusion, understanding. They quote Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. And here we see that Vrindavana Das Thakur is very clearly following his guru. Then he follows the Shastra, sadhu. He was actually the son of a niece of Srivas Pandit. So he was relative. He had seen Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he was small. He was living in Mamgachi, which is, I don't know if you went for Navadvipana Parikrama, you know where it is. It's right next to Navadvip. And he took Nityananda Prabhu as his guru. So, and he was apparently also the last disciple of Nityananda Prabhu. So he was a great personality, and he was given the task to preach Krishna consciousness by preaching the glories of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that's all wonderful. By reading his book, we will get all the sublime pastimes, and we will get so inspired to the devotional service. But there is one thing not spoken yet. Every acharya, when he preaches, so then we have some great pastimes, something which he encourages everyone to the devotional service. So these are the instructions. But instruction is never complete without some prohibitions. Right? I mean, when we get initiation, then what do we get, right? Guru gives, chant the holy name, which is the primary, that's the instruction, that's what you have to do. But he tells you, and you have to avoid the four regulative principles. Right? Why is it like this? If you chant and don't follow the regulative principles, then what happens? Can you get taste for chanting of the holy name? Whatever you chant will be now aparat. Right? Because committing offenses and then thinking that by chanting, now we will, everything will be purified, it's an offense against the holy name. So, that's important. We have to avoid offenses. We have to follow the regulative principles. All four. No discounts there. Some may be preaching 3.5 or whatever. That's bogus. So, what did Vrindavana Thakur speak about? What was his? He wrote Chaitanya Bhagavat. But was there something which he was very much against? Anybody knows? Let's see. Yes. Exactly. This is the point. He was very much against Vaishnava Parat. In fact, he even said that even if after hearing how bad it is to commit Vaishnava Parat, how dangerous it is to commit Vaishnava Parat, one doesn't give up Vaishnava Parat. Then Vrindavana Thakur, he said he personally will kick him into his head. He was very strong. Why was that? Because if you commit Vaishnava Parat, what will you get from reading Chaitanya Bhagavat? What will you get from chanting of the holy name? What will you get from association of devotees? Only misery. No taste. Right? So, what does it mean to commit Vaishnava Parat? It's very important to understand. Vaishnava Parat doesn't mean that you go and hit somebody and that's aparat. many times, or most of the time, a word hurts more than physical slap or kick. To talk about somebody, about criticize, it's a Vaishnava parat. To talk prajalpa, taking somebody into, oh yeah, I know he was like this, he did this. Even if he did something wrong, and if you just talk about it, it's a prajalpa, it's also Vaishnava parat. You commit Vaishnava parat, you cannot get taste for devotional service. You can do mechanically. But then after some time, you'll be wondering, why am I not getting taste for chanting? Why do I want to be away from association of devotees? Then the first thing to look into, it may be Vaishnava parat. So, this is something to very seriously consider. Vrindavana Thakur, he is telling us, do not commit Vaishnava parat, and do engage yourself in chanting and hearing about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You will definitely feel sublime. All the acharyas are telling us that. So then how do we actually avoid the Vaishnava parat? What is it? What we need to do to avoid Vaishnava parat? Rupa Goswami, he describes in the Nectar of Devotion. What does he say? First, well, we should see good qualities in others. And we should avoid seeing bad qualities in others. It's like Dronacharya. When the Pandavas and the Kauravas finished their training, then he gave him a task. He called Maharaj Yudhishthira and Duryodhana, and he called them. And then he gave a task. He asked Maharaj Yudhishthira, you go throughout the world, travel and find a person who is only bad, and bring him to me. And he asked Duryodhana, you find a person who is good, and bring him to me. And then, well, they went different directions, looking. They came back empty-handed. Now, how is that? So, Duryodhana, he could not find anybody who is only good, right? Everybody has some bad quality. Even though he was good, there was something there. He is not good. Maharaj Yudhishthira, he could not find somebody who is so bad, because everybody has some good quality. So it depends on each and every one of us. How do you associate? If you associate, you can have one person, and that person can be good association for someone, and the same person can be bad association for somebody else. Depends what you want. You come to a devotee and you start talking Krishna Katha. He wants to talk Krishna Katha, and then you can have some nice Krishna Katha, some nice association. That's good. That's sadhu sangha. Somebody else comes to the same devotee, start talking about some movie or some prajalpa, and the devotee responds and then start talking about some nonsense. What good association is that? So you can draw from a person what you want. You can appreciate anyone, because everyone has some good quality. And at the same time, you can find fault on anyone. That depends on you. What do you want? So if we want to progress, if we want to follow, again, Rupa Goswami, Upadeshamrita, right? First verse, what is he talking about? Vachovegam, right? Following, how do we control our senses? First, you get yourself together. Second verse, he talks about what to avoid. Right? Avoid prajalpa, avoid asadhu sangha, just what to avoid. The third verse, he speaks about what is good for Krishna consciousness. So he goes into sadhu sangha. And the fourth verse, then he describes how do you associate with the devotees to enhance your Krishna consciousness. Right? So that there are the 6 exchanges. So then we have to know. We have to understand and how to properly appreciate each other. And not to be like a duplicitous. Not to be doing one thing but thinking something else. What you think eventually turns into what you will do. Because the process, how the mind works, it's thinking, feeling, and willing. So first, a thought comes. You contemplate on the thought. Then, what happens? You start feeling that something you want to do. That feeling turns into willing. Okay, I will do. Every single process, every single time it works like this. Whether it's good or bad. But you have to be very careful, especially when it is about the bad things, what happened to us. A dirty thought comes to the mind. And then, what do? You think about it. And if you are not careful, you just keep thinking about it. Like you may go on the street, you see some nice woman. And then you think, oh, that's a beautiful girl. And you think about it. And then very soon, you actually may start feeling just her closeness. You want to enjoy her. Because you are not careful. And very soon, after that, it may happen that you actually want to, approach her, you want to have sex with her. Not impossible. It can be very quick. It depends on how you process your thoughts. If you see a nice girl, first of all, you should immediately, no, this is not for me. I'm a brahmachari, and even if grihastha, it doesn't matter. You should say, no, this is not for me, and redirect your thoughts. Sri Yamunacharya, what is he teaching us? He was a king, and he had a lot of sense gratification. But when he gave up all this, and he get onto Krishna consciousness, he became known as Yamunacharya, then he lets us know. He says, when I think of sex, I immediately spit on the thought. So he is teaching us that you cannot control your thoughts. You will see people, that the mind will bring some ideas from before. You will get some dirty thoughts. But as soon as you get the thought, you immediately have to spit on it. Get disgusted. That's not what I want. Don't ever think that you are in control. Because that's not what the mind makes you think. Anyway, just thinking about it, it's not bad. I have it under control. I can do whatever I want. So when you think about something bad, you can get rid of it quite easily. When you start feeling about it you want to do, it's much more difficult to get rid of the thought. And once you come to the stage of willing, there's no way. You can't. You will do it. You will find out. You will. You will keep thinking. You will abuse your intelligence just to get done what you want. So here, if you keep committing Vaishnava Aparat, that's not an accident. That's what you want. Then, such person cannot progress, cannot get taste for the holy name, cannot get taste for devotional service. So criticizing devotees, offending them, committing aparat, especially against Guru, it's very, very serious. In fact, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, he is telling us, first, okay, Srila Prabhupada, what does he say about devotional service? Devotional service, then you can, it's permanent, right? You perform devotional activities, and these devotional activities will never be removed. They are permanent. And material activities, then they are permanent. They are not permanent. They are temporary. So we should do devotional service, and then it will stay with us. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, he says, there is a case in which you actually can get even the permanent the activities, the results of your devotional service can be destroyed. Anybody knows what it can be? What is the most serious offense one can actually ever commit? Okay, so Vrindavana Thakur speaks, Vaishnava Aparat. Out of Vaishnava Aparat, the most serious is Guru Aparat. And what is the most serious ever to actually commit, especially against Guru? There is one sinful activity which is even among the materialists, it's considered very, very bad. Okay, I'll tell you how Shastra sees it. There was one woodcutter, and he was in the forest, and it was a very dense forest, and he got lost, and was starting to get dark. And that time forest means tigers and elephants and so many things. So naturally, he was thinking, I'm gone. I'm in the forest, dark, I get eaten. So he was lamenting, he was crying, he was calling for help. And there was suddenly an elephant comes, white elephant. And it was not an ordinary elephant. The elephant was actually speaking. And he asked, what happened? How can I help you? Oh, he was so surprised. Oh, look, I got lost. I don't know my way out of this forest. And I'm afraid. Oh, no problem. Just sit on me. I'll take you out. So then he sat on the elephant and he took him out of the forest on the path. He said, this is going to the city. So he was very happy. And then he comes to the city. And then he feels like, wow, okay, so now I'm saved. And then he goes by some shops. He goes by some jewelry shop. and then he sees some items made out of ivory. So then he comes and asks him, what is this? Oh, that's ivory, that's some elephant tusk. Wow, how much it costs? Oh, it's very expensive. Yeah? And yeah, I mean, ivory is very expensive, and the most expensive is from the living elephant. Wow. So then he gets idea. He goes back to the forest, and he looks for the elephant. And then he calls, elephant comes, what happened? How can I help you? Look, I have family. My family is really starving. I have no money. I need some, okay, how can I help you? Look, can I have your tasks? Because if I have them, I can sell them, and then I can maintain my family. No problem, cut them off. So okay, so he cut the task. He goes to the shop, he gives it, and then he gets huge amount of money. And then he figures out, wow, so much money I got for it. And I was so foolish, so much I left on the elephant. So he goes again there. Look, I paid my debt, so many things. I have no money. Can I take some more? Sure. He said, wait a minute. If I cut it, there is still some. So he plucked it out. The elephant was crying, but wouldn't harm, bleeding. And as he was going, finally, I have everything, nothing I left. Then the earth opened, he falls in, finished. Anybody knows what it is? There is another. In the Shastra it is said that, okay, when people die, right, sometimes for some reasons they tie the body to the tree for the ghosts to enjoy. So the yakshasas come, the ghosts come, and something with, when the person does something very sinful. Or I think when he commits also suicide, it's done. Anyway. So, once there was a body, and there were like a discussion between two Rakshasas. And then, okay, let's enjoy. There is another, won't touch him. Why? You know what he did? Okay, it's ungratefulness. If person is ungrateful, the earth cannot hold him. If person is ungrateful, even the yakshasas and ghosts will not eat him. He stays untouched. That's the most sinful activity. So if one is ungrateful to one's guru, even the pious credits which he may gotten get destroyed. So one has to be very, very cautious and careful then not to commit this aparat. So now, but how to do it? How to actually avoid? How to avoid being, not committing Vaishnava aparat? Like, okay, example, like you may be a temple commander and many times you have to chastise someone. Or you are a father and you have to chastise your son. But he's also a Vaishnava. If I chastise him, I hit him, then I'm committing Vaishnava aparat. It's not like that. You have to, what is criticism? What's criticizing? Criticizing someone means that you don't have any power over the person. You don't have any influence, or you don't have any direct power, but you go on and talking. I know he did this bad. Yeah, I saw him. Somebody told me. If you have nothing you can do about it, it's criticizing. It's prajalpa. That's Vaishnava aparat. Now, if you know that somebody did something not good, if you have influence, like he's your friend, right? You can go to him and tell, look, I saw that you did something. Please don't do that. Or I see that you have some tendency, kind of like maybe doing something wrong. Can I help you? Can I somehow help you to work it over? I don't want you to be doing wrong things because you are my friend. One is not someone's friend when you see that somebody does something wrong and you don't care. That's not friend. Real friend is that you really care about the other person. So when you care about him, that's a friendship. So you have to actually be very concerned. So when you see that your friend does something wrong, you have an influence. When a father sees that his son does something wrong, there is a relationship. There is an influence. Just recently I heard that Gandhiji, I think was still in when he was in Africa, and I think there was with his grandson, and he asked him, hey, can you take that car? I have a car. Can you take my car to fix it, to repair? So okay, he took the car. The grandson took the car. And then he saw, oh, I have still time. No, he told him, be at 4 o'clock in my office. No, we will go then home. And then he took the car there. He saw he has time. Let's go to some movie, see something. So he went. Then he finished and, wow, I'm late. So he quickly ran, got the car, came to the office. And then he was late. So then Gandhiji asked him, why are you late? Oh, in the garage, they were late. No, they didn't have everything ready. So I left it a little bit late. He looked at him and he said, I never imagined that my grandson would be lying to me. What do you mean? Yeah, you are right. Can we go? I'm not going with you. You take the car, go home, I'm walking. And he went home, it was like 30 kilometers. The whole night he was walking. Then, from what I know, it was the remembrance of the grandson. And he said, since then, he could never lie. When he wanted to, he always remembered that moment. He could never lie again. That's influence. Power. When you are responsible, like, okay, you are here in temple room and you are the guard. You have to see that everybody behaves properly. Somebody starts doing something wrong, you by force take him out. That's not criticism. That's not Vaishnava Aparat. It's your responsibility. So if you have influence or power, you are obliged to use it. You have to use it to correct the person. Now, if you don't have neither, and you see that somebody does something wrong, then the only next thing you can do to let somebody know who can do something about it. Right? You see that somebody does something wrong, and you don't know the person. He is not your friend. You don't have power, or you cannot tell him anything. Go and somebody and tell somebody who can do something about it. Otherwise, what else can you do? If you go on the street and you see some kids doing some nonsense and you cannot do anything, just forget it. What can you do? Right? All you can maybe try to preach to them But if they don't want to listen to you, what can you do? But going on and criticizing, I had seen, I had heard, no, and not doing anything about it, that's criticism. And we have to be very careful about it. Bhagavad Gita speaks about criticizing. Haridas Thakur talks about criticizing. Right? If a person does something wrong, then the person, I'm a Vaishnava, if he gets back to the position by, okay, I did something wrong, please all Vaishnavas forgive me, it was a mistake. There is no offense. Krishna doesn't take the offense. Nobody does. So Krishna considers that person to be the same Vaishnava as he was before the mistake. But if somebody picks up on that mistake and criticizes the devotee for that mistake, he is the fallen. He falls down. So he is the offender. He is the aparadi. So not the one who did it, but just the one who talks about it. That's very important. So there is no need at all whatsoever to criticize anyone. In fact, criticism is Vaishnava aparad. But if you have the influence or power to see that something was done wrong and you have to do something about it, you have to do it. That's your responsibility. So if we follow that, and if we see how we can actually help each other to be a good association for each other, how to help each other to be a better devotee, then chanting of the holy name, reading Bhagavatam, reading Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Bhagavat, then such the activities of the Lord and the devotees will give such a devotee great joy, taste for chanting. And one can come to the platform of pure devotional service immediately. It's like this. We are trying to kindle a fire of devotion. But I'm sure, well, I hope that many of you before were trying to light the fire, right? I mean, you go sometimes take some twigs, put them, and with the match just light the fire. It's easy enough, right? Now, what if the wood is wet? Can you light the fire? It will be difficult. So you need dry wood. So the devotional service is something you are trying to light the fire with the dry wood. But then the offenses against the Vaishnavas are something like pouring water over the fire. So you are pouring water over the wood with one hand and lighting it with the other one. Can you light the fire? Never. You cannot do it. So first we have to stop pouring the water. Then it may take some time for the wood to dry. So there is a stage in which, even though we are not committing Vaishnava aparad, still we may get some reaction for that we were committing before. But time comes, the wood is dry, we can light the fire. So don't be, well, again, that somebody comes and he was a bad person. Once he gives up everything what he came with, becomes devotee, nobody has any right to criticize such person. you cannot, refer to, oh, he was a thief. No, that was. Not anymore. Even the great kings would actually follow this. There was another story of Angulimala. Right? He was a boy in Gurukul, and he had very good relationship with his teacher. And his teacher was living with his wife, and it was in the forest. And at that time, then he was very intelligent, and he would have a lot of discussions between him and the teacher, and many times the wife also would be part of it. But because of his closeness to the teacher, the other disciples, the other students, they got very jealous, envious. So they thought about, what do I do? No, what do we do? Okay. They thought about like poisoning the mind of the teacher against that boy. So once the boys, they came to the teacher. Well, teacher, sometimes you are going out, but you don't know what the boy is doing when you are not here. What? And he started, okay, let's see. So he went out, and as it was happening, basically, every time. I mean, he was discussing with his teacher, and when the teacher was not there, he would talk also with the wife. I mean, they would be talking, the proper subjects. He was pure. But when the teacher came and he saw, basically discussing that, and then he saw them alone in the room, that's not right. Yes, he is an offender. And he chased him away. So he didn't do anything wrong, except being alone with the wife. But there was nothing on his thought. But still, he was chased by his guru. At that time, being chased away from his guru means society rejects that person. He could not come home. He could not come to anyone. Everybody just rejects him. He is an outcast. Okay, so then what do? I didn't do anything wrong. Now, okay, I will take revenge on the society. And he became a dacoit. And he started to kill people. Because he was living in the mountains, and then anybody would come through a road, he would just kill them, take all the riches what they had, and he would cut small finger, put it on his mala. So he had like a mala, Anguli mala. The king was desperate to get him, to kill him, to get rid of him. But he was so smart, he could never do it. So the king was not desperately wanting him, but could not get him. Once there was Lord Buddha. He was walking, and then Angulimala was with the Da running. I'm going to kill him and take what he has. And as he was running, he could not come closer. He was always the same distance. He was running, and could not. And he was just peacefully walking in front of him. So then he figured out, okay, I cannot do anything. That's not normal. So he surrendered. He paid obeisances. Okay. So then with that, Lord Buddha, he took him to his ashram. And he was in the ashram, now fully dedicated. The king came to know. He sent soldiers. And then they came. And then, now, okay, where is he? He is there doing service. They came, they saw. Well, he is now a different person. Now he is doing for his service. He doesn't have the mentality of killing or being revengeful. Okay, let him be here. They went without him. The punishment, there was no need for punishment. It's the mentality which decides whether you need punishment or not. So if the devotee falls down and he understands, he corrects his mentality, there is no need for punishment. And in fact, such a devotee continues where he stopped. There was no fall down. But if somebody falls down and makes a philosophy out of it, just anyway, everybody's pretending, So what? So what did I fall down? Everybody is like that. Everybody's thinking about that. Somebody says, some grihastas, they call brahmacharis as a reddish. Outside red, but inside white. So, like that, just to find a fault that if I am wrong, everybody must be wrong. But it's not like that. I am wrong. And why am I wrong? I should do something to be right. To do something about it. So not criticizing, but actually humbly requesting, please, I have this difficulty. Can you help me? These are the 6 exchanges, like we were saying. Darati pratigrinati, guhimyaki prichati, bhunkte bojayate. So if we get that, the exchanges properly going, darati pratigrinati, giving gifts, accepting gifts, guhyam akiti prichati, revealing one's mind in confidence, and being able to hear someone, and bhunkte bojayate, distributing prasad, serving, and being able to take prasad. These are the exchanges which they enhance devotional service. They enhance relationships among the devotees. So this is something, if we follow, devotional service flourishes. If we don't do, things will suffer. So this is something which Vrindavana's Thakur very much stresses on. So yes, we should read Chaitanya Bhagavat, we should read Chaitanya Charitamrita, we should study Bhagavatam, study Bhagavad Gita, but we should very much take care of so then we don't commit Vaishnava Aparat. Okay, questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. When new devotees, they experience problems from the materialist, how do they try to become more and more humble? That's my question.
Exposure to devotional service, exposure to devotees. See, very important thing is that if a devotee comes, a new bhakta comes, then first of all, he must want to take up devotional service. If he comes and he wants to maintain his old habits and thinking that by mechanically chanting he will become a pure devotee, it's wrong.
In the case when he doesn't understand yet the rules and regulations, the philosophy of Krishna consciousness.
Like how you deal with child. Slowly, you teach him. Kid also doesn't understand immediately. So that's why you have the training, Bhakta program. But it's not possible to teach everything in one little time. That's why Gurukulas are there. Now Grihasthas should be sending the children to Gurukul, because in Gurukul they learn all this by doing it. Yeah?
The question is that if the offenses done by mind and offenses by actions, are they equally do they give equal reactions?
In the first 3 yugas, even thinking about sinful activity is sinful. Then, by Krishna's mercy, in Kali Yuga, thinking about sinful activities is not sinful. Only committing the sinful activity, then it's sinful. So, yes, just thinking about offense may not be offensive. But if you are not careful, there is a very small difference between thinking about offense and doing the offense. And that's sinful. So we should be very careful. As soon as there is some tendency that we are thinking about committing some offense, we should be very, very careful. We should consult some devotees. Well, I feel like this against the devotee. He's like this to me. I feel that he doesn't like me, and I don't like him. You should be very careful and quickly work it out before you actually commit any offense towards the devotee.
Have a test in chanting. You talk about the test in chanting by avoiding the aparadhas. My question that you also talk about details, minute, different case studies with giving examples.
Yeah.
So many way. So many question comes, but I don't have the answer.
You don't have the time.
But at least one question. The senior and advanced. You have to assist the advanced devotee or senior devotee. Seniority by age, by diksha, by post, by position, different way senior. And advancement, what is the definition of advancement? What is the definition of advancement?
Advancement.
And to whom we choose to take the sangha in order to avoid the aparadha and having the test and chanting. And what is the proof externally and internally whether you are in test in chanting?
Okay, so basically how to advance. Now, association is the key how to make advancement. But association is of 2 kinds. You are taking association and you are giving association. Everybody wants to take association, right? Some senior devotees come and, oh, please, can you tell me this? Can I serve you? Can I do this? It's nice. Because then this is what you advance, but because you are getting some knowledge, you are getting something from it for yourself, right? It's good for you. But giving association, many times it is like, I have no time. No, please go somewhere else. Ask somebody else. And it's no, I don't feel advanced enough to tell the devotee, or there may be so many reasons, but giving association is not so easy. But the difference between taking association, you get a lot of knowledge, you get a lot of you learn a lot. But it's only by giving association that you realize what you have learned. So you need to learn to give association too. Because without giving association, you won't really get the realization. Like, how do you learn? Right? There is also a saying, if you want to learn something properly, the best way to learn something is to teach it. So if you learn, you think, oh, I know it. Yeah, I know this. Okay. Somebody asks you, then you feel, oh, no, I know it, but ask somebody else. Right? If you want to really know some subject, teach it. Because then the students will ask questions. And they will ask, how is this? Oh, wait a minute, I didn't think about it. Okay, I'll get back to you, I'll tell you later. Even the teacher may not really know. But he learns like this, he realizes. So therefore, you want to learn something, you teach it. Association, you want to get the best association, you give association. That's the proper way how association is done. And how? The 6 exchanges. Darate pratigrihnate, guhemakiti prichate, bhunkte bojayate. These 6, they cover everything. It's like a frame. And in that frame, everything fits. All other relationships. So if you have that, if you follow this, then you cannot be wrong. Yeah? Okay, we'll end here. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Vrindavana Das Thakur ki, Jai Nitai Gaur Pramananda.